That would be
Well,
the big brain
welcome
play.
to the ASL Season 14 Awards Show. I have with me Peach.
Hello, when did you start recording?
I just recorded right in the middle of you talking just because, like, why not,
Oh, okay, great.
I just thought it'd be fun. So, we're kind of recapping a season awards show. Peach works harder than anyone in the server in awards and just gonna have a good time in a relatively short video, but celebrating how things went. So, coach of the season is up first with myself, Dravos, Lil A, and TCP nominated. And before I reveal, Lil A's logo is ridiculous.
I
It's
I love it.
it is. I love it too, but it's ridiculous.
We get to see more of it, which is good. For those who don't know, which is probably everyone, Brad doesn't know any of the award winners yet. Only
That's
I do.
true.
So it's
I
gonna be a surprise to him too.
I'm completely spoiler free, but I do see that I won coach of the season in somewhat of a majority vote there, 86%. Um,
Yeah, remember when I told you that these were mostly split votes? I
yeah.
said that before I looked at this slide. I was like, oh, wait a sec.
I'll just say it was a fun season. I had a really good team. I had a team that fit my play style, and I appreciate everyone's thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, the blue Pac-Man doesn't lie. The numbers on the right don't lie, which in case people haven't picked up on what that means, that's essentially like win-loss and your differential.
Hmm.
And we'll have it when it switches to Mons later, it will become kills death, their differential, and then we have game one on there as well. But yeah, first ever lossless season. So pretty spectacular. I don't know how that doesn't win coach of the season.
Yeah, and I also believe the previous differential record I think was 39. So I think this breaks the all-time ASL differential record as well.
Pretty pretty crazy that this is a historic season in that sense.
Yeah. On to the next one, which is yours.
Yep. So hardest team to prep for, we have Brad, who would have guessed. Keister heading the Phoenix Fly-Ons. Reshram heading my team. I guess I wasn't coaching this time. A little joke from last season where we nominated Landers I for Cam Eruption's team
Mhm.
on this, and Crispy Panda with the Hartford Whalers.
And the winner?
And it is Brad. Who would have
Oh.
thought? Yeah. A little bit more split this time, but still more than half the votes going to. I think I was talking to Lil A and Dravos quite a bit about this, and like your team has some crazy offense with the Urshifu, the Garchomp, and the Silvally proven to be like the the kill leader for it.
Mhm.
But the thing I always struggled with the most was the Corviknight Glow King defensive core. And then you can literally add any of your other mods to that defensive core, like Audino, Dusclops, Swampert, etc. And it just gets harder and harder to like think like what are my breakers for this? Because I don't think there was really a mod this season that could deal with both, at least drafted.
Yeah, it was a really
Maybe
great
your
roster.
Shifu, but
It was a really great roster. I approach everything from an offensive perspective, but like Urshifu, Garchomp, Silvally, even things like Nasty Pot, Slow King, or Calm Mind, Slow King, Bulk Up, Corviknight. Even Serena is hard slept on. That thing punches holes into stuff. Um, I ran a lot of max attack, max special attack Swamperts. It was a really fun roster to use, and I definitely think it was good. I mean, I know I personally voted for Reshiram, but I can appreciate that it was a challenging roster to face.
I mean, it's kind of hard to say. I was the hardest team to prep for when you never had to prep for yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel
So,
like this is the one category where you can never vote for yourself.
well, yes, unless you're Lily, and then you can just do whatever you want.
Oh, true.
And the next category is most creative coach. We had Amarillo, Inkfish. Wow, what did I say? That's not a word.
Ink
Lile
Fist.
and Mogo. And the winner was Lile. Lele with a 40% vote for most creative coach. And that, I mean, to me, kind of makes sense. Lele likes to do kind of out of the box things, but I like that when Lele's playing his best, to me, he's doing maybe what you would say out of the box things, but he's doing them in a time and a place that it makes sense. He doesn't just make creative sets just to be creative. He's using them in ways that are optimal for the matchup. And that's what really sticks out to me about Lele in general and in particular this season.
Yeah, Lille, I mean, he's just kind of known for that. Like, he's no stranger to this category, and he has a lot of Mons on his team that like no one else was seen drafting before, and kind of just using them in ways where, like, some things were a little bit more standard, like the Vaporeon, but there were other Mons he brought. Like, there was of course, the classic weakness policy Rock Polish, Regirock, Senna Scorch had a big impact on the season.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't forget that Delcatty, that thing.
Yep.
um, but I also like to see that Amarillo having probably like the most interesting team to look at, still having quite a good bit of the votes, as well as Mogo, who only came in like halfway through the season,
Yeah.
and you can tell like they were both just getting out of their comfort zone, trying a lot of different things. So
Well, you can definitely, think about creative uses, and I can just pops to mind like Lele's Hatterene was transformative.
oh yeah.
Amarillo's Granbull was just really, 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 really good.
Hmm.
There was definitely some things that they did that were uniquely successful in my book. But on to the next one, and you've
Absolutely.
got it for Tier C Mon.
Yeah, best tier C Mon. So what I was talking about earlier, we have the kills deaths, their differential from the kill death ratio, and then their games won. First off, we have Arcanine from the Hartford Whalers, Crobat from the Dallas Stars, Mega Garchomp, new to Tier C this season in the Phoenix Flygons roster, and we have Silvally, which is not a part of the Totem Totodile. I left that there from last season.
Which just a
Whichever season.
little shout out to Ian. Just a little shout out to
Little
Ian.
shout out to Ian. Little shout out to my typo because I swear I triple checked this after having like there were like 7 or 8 typos on the original awards form, and I went through just to make sure the pie charts would look nice and
Yeah.
redid all the votes. And I still couldn't catch them
Well,
all.
I think you got Ian's team name spelled right, if that makes you feel better.
That's a plus. That's great. Anyway, winner of best tier C Mon is Sal Valley on Brad's team though, not on Ian's. And I don't think this comes as a surprise to anyone. 15-2 from a tier C, that is very rare in this league and unheard of in pretty much any other league. Also having that 100% win rate because it was on the team that had a 100% win rate as well. So,
Yeah.
and I think the crazy thing about Silvally this season, this is the only season I've ever seen where it's run the same set every time. Like I don't think you once strayed away from the Swords Dance, multi-attack, flame charge filler move for the fourth.
Yeah, I think that there was one game this season where I ran special and it never hit the field.
Well, that
Um,
would explain why I didn't know about it.
but, and I may be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. But Savala had a just crazy, I mean, a more than 2 kill game differential is just, that's bananas for anything, right?
And in only half the games too. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's nuts. Like you look at kill leaders, like the top kills this season was Dragapult with 20, but it came to all 13 games.
Yeah. It was crazy that every match I would bring it, and I was adamant probably every time it was offensive. And I had just enough speed to outspeed their fastest thing at +1, and I would almost always either just click multi attack because their health was low enough, or I would swords dance and flame charge, and it worked. It worked 7 out of 7 times, and it worked in the
Well, 6 out of
playoffs.
7 because you
It
only had one
was,
that was.
yeah, that's true. It was bananas. It was a crazy mon, and it was a crazy season. But major shout out to Arcanine. It only got a small sliver of the vote, but I thought Arcanine was absolutely insane this season with TCP's usage. It was the number one threat when I faced him. That was a crazy season, so shout out to Arcanine, personally.
Yeah, 11-5 for Arcanine, especially since TCP was mostly running it defensive the whole season. I can't speak to it because I don't know all of his sets, but it was mostly defensive from what I saw. Your typical like Morning Sun teleport, maybe Will-O-Wisp, maybe like Roar or something. Heavy duty boots. And
100%.
11-5, 13th on the MVP leaderboard, Silvally, third on the MVP leaderboard.
Yeah.
Like just some very cool stuff there from the tier Cs.
It was cool. Tier C had a good season. But moving on to the Tier D Mon, we had Chestnut, Decidueye, Duraludon, and Kingdra, all with really nice seasons. 4 Tier D Mons with double-digit kills is really exciting for me personally. And the winner was, of course, what else would it be? Chestnut at 13-6, winning 80% of its appearances. Huge vote pool. I mean, it was far and beyond the winner and very deserving of it. Chestnut was the dominant threat from a team that had Darkrai, from a team that had Zeraora, and had Mega Gardevoir. And 9 out of 10 times at the end of the match, you weren't talking about all those threats. You were talking about Chestnut. And that happened over and over and over again. If you can do that with any Tier D Mon, it is deserving of Best Tier D Mon award. And what a season to never forget for Chestnut believers.
Yep, absolutely beautiful, beautiful display of by Chestnut. I feel like more often than not, it was brought up because Dravos hates how it looks,
Yeah.
but it really carried him, and I'm gonna be seeing him at the chiropractor in about a week or two because his back probably hurting from carrying that team. But
It,
I do also want to shout out Decidueye from TCP's
yeah.
team. I think it was number 5 on the MVP board, and 14-5 from Decidueye. A Mon you almost don't even like see that often. I feel like we see it like once every 2 seasons it gets drafted.
Yeah.
And just really putting in a lot of work. I'm definitely not being held at bow point because it 6-0'd me or anything. So
Also, like
moving.
I still want to mention though, Duraludon, like there were so many weeks that Ink would run that thing like Scarf Draco Meteor, and it just kept happening and it kept killing stuff. And that was
Yeah,
it's just every week like it's gonna happen, it's gonna kill something, and it just does over and over again.
that Duraludon proved to be a big threat. We I feel like a lot of people didn't like it because its stats weren't amazing. It weren't bad, but they just weren't amazing. Its type's good, but it just wasn't. It felt like it was either too slow for some things or not
Yeah,
enough Spadef. Really is the big thing, as well.
I'm
Also,
with you.
Kingdra first time in Tier D. Love to see it here.
And then Tier E, is that you now?
Yeah, that's me. Best Tier E Mon, we have Dusknoir from my squad, Granbull from the Dallas Tyranostars, Lantern from the Phoenix Flygons, and Vileplume from the Houston Dynamos. Not a huge season for Tier E's, but there were still some standout performances. And the winner is Lantern from the Phoenix Flygons.
Wow.
Keiser didn't have the best season, but Lantern was kind of that Mon that really just consistently was there for him. I mean, you look 5-5 plus 0, it's like whatever, but Lantern not the best offensively, kind of more of a bulky Mon. That's pretty good for it, and also being at 5 of his 7 wins, also very good as well. Just solid Mon.
Yeah, I mean, for perspective, Keister won 6 games this season, and Lantern was at 5 of them. So obviously, when it came, it worked, and
There's another typo.
it did good things. So Uh, nice season. I think, like you said, this season for whatever reason, Tier E's didn't have like a major success. There wasn't like a
No.
10 kill Tier E, but there were a lot of Tier E's that were regularly successful. Again, Granbull was very, very good. Obviously, the Lantern was good. The Dust Noir, Vileplume, but there were even some other Tier E's that I can think of that were notable. So Tier E's
Yeah.
definitely made their pay. They did well, but Lantern definitely was. I mean, 5-5, like I said, for Lantern, that's pretty outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess two Tier that didn't make this list that were kind of stand out were Kingler from Ian's squad
Hmm.
and Frostmont from Dravo's squad, but because they both 6-0'd, but they only came to like that one game where they 6-0'd.
Yeah,
Or I think they actually both came. Yeah, they both came to two games, but they only 6-0'd in one, and the other game they did Jack. So
yeah,
it's nice here seeing some higher usage from Tier.
agreed. And we've got best offensive Mon. You've got Dragapult, Silvally, Zapdos, Galar, and Zeraora. And I just want to say before I reveal this for myself, I love this lineup. No megas, right? None of
True.
your I guess you could say Dragapult at this point is a traditional kind of high-end offensive Mon, but
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
Silvally's not normally on here. Zapdos is not normally on here. Zeraora's maybe more of a cleaner than it is a breaker. So this, I just love this page. I like seeing some of the Mons and some of their utility this season. And the winner would be Dragapult. Not much of a surprise. 23 kills. It was a dominant force every time it appeared. It's a Dragapult, right? They're unbelievable. The usage of it was phenomenal. Uh, well deserving, but also still shout out to the other Mons, particularly the Zapdos Galar. That's a Mon that I will admit that I was kind of on the fence about. I liked it. I liked it from a damage calculator standpoint, but I had not used it or seen it used expertly well. And I am 100% a believer after this season.
Yeah, for sure. Zapdos Galar was the mon I was most excited to see just because, I mean, this is its first season in ASL. And first season in any draft league that I've seen anyway. I mean, the Mon's maybe a year old now because I think Crown Tundra came out last year.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. And it even without Roost, it's still like putting in a lot of work. Just very great offensive stats.
Yeah.
One thing I want to fix, the Dragapult is 20-7. That's its differential. It's 23-4 here, and it will be 23-4 on all future slides it appears on.
Oh.
Apologies. That's from a previous season, or I was just completely like dead tired doing this, or I was just the typos. I can't escape them. There were more than this many on the awards voting, and they come back to haunt me. I thought it was
Well, 20-7, just for context, is still, Zapdos had
yeah.
16 kills, Silvally had 15 kills, Zeraora had 15 kills. So 20
It's a
and
lot closer
7's
than
still,
it looks. Yeah.
but 20-7 is still very impressive.
Mm.
But on to Defensive Mon.
Yep, best defensive mon. We have Chestnut from Bellingham Clefkeys, Reshiram from the Woodland Weaviles, Slow King Galar from the Energy Ballers, and Tapu Bulu from the Denver Numals. And it looks like I forgot half the games won there, so that was super, super great of me. Slow King won 7 out of its 7 games, and Blake won 4 games, so we can just pretend Tapu Bulu came to all 4 of them because I don't feel like checking all of those right now.
Okay.
And the winner for best defensive is Chestnut, to very few people's surprise, but almost tying with Slow King there on the voting.
Yeah. Surprising to me. Surprising to me. I thought this would be one of those 80-20 pie charts, with Chestnut being clearly in first place. Um, I find it surprising that it's this close. But I think that's probably just a statement to how good some of these other Mons were. Um, there were a lot of good, solid, regular, kind of in the way and not going away Mons. But to me, Chestnut was far and beyond the best defensive Mon of the season.
For sure. And it's funny, you look at its typing, grass fighting, and it's one of those things where I've never personally used Chestnut just because I feel like it has a typing that's hard to fit on. you're weak to poison, you're weak to psychic, you're quad weak to flying, you're weak to fire, you're weak to ice. And it's like, even at the end of all of that, like, it's still sitting here for best defensive Mon with no immunities aside from whatever bulletproof gives it. I know the main one being sludge bomb.
Yeah.
And a few other things like that. Really, really just goes to show how great a Mon, how like great of a gem this is in Tier D
Mm-hmm.
in the right circumstances, and it just had a lot of those right circumstances this season.
Well, and strong compliment to the user, right? It was put in a lot of good
Absolutely.
positions. Chestnut it wasn't just baited out there like turn one, like it was swapped in at the right time. He didn't leave it too long generally. The usage was expert.
100% with you there.
All right, best overall Mon. You may have seen these before. Spoiler alert. But you got Dragapult, Silvally, Decidueye, and Zeraora, and the winner was Dragapult. Again, no surprise, quite frankly. Surprised it was that close. Maybe similar to the Chestnut. I thought this would be more of an 80-20 spread, if you will. Excuse me. Dragapult was great all the time. It was appearing in. Did it appear in every game? 13
Yeah,
games?
it came to every game.
Came to
Yep.
every game. Was phenomenal in every game. It definitely deserves this award. Cap tip certainly to the other Mons. The Dragapult was a great dominant force in every game, which to me sets it very much apart from some of the other threats. I think Silvally came to 7 games. Decidueye, something in that general vicinity, I think. So
Came to 8.
8 games. So to me, Dragapult with a 13-game appearance, it was a no-doubter.
Yeah, absolutely. I think part of me feels like this is a case of people when they were voting just looking at the MVP leaderboard and being like Dragapult's up there, so probably deserves it. And honestly, like Dragapult not being up there, it means Dragapult's having a weird season.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people said in like post match discussion, like Dragapult's a Mon that demands a kill every time it comes in to a game. And 142 speed, it's gonna get one. So
yeah, Dragapult's great. The usage of it was very good. And again, when you go hunting for a Tier A, and you're trying to decide what you want from a Tier A, what you want from a Tier A is 13 appearances. Like that's really what you want from a Tier A. Like that's what you're drafting it for, right? You're drafting it because it can be the cornerstone of a team every single week, and Dragapult was that, certainly.
absolutely.
All right, and you're up for 7th Mon of the season.
Seventh Mon of the season. I'm going to explain it in case people forgot since voting or if they just never knew to begin with. Seventh Mon of the season, essentially award we give to Mons who came to 6 games or less and just kind of had a notable presence or general impact on the league as a whole, but it came to less than half the games. So for that, we have Frostlass from the Houston Dynamos, Lycanroc Dusk from the PC Barcelona, Piloswine from the Woodland Weaviles, and Zoroark from the St. Louis Skitty SC. God damn it! I'm hiring a proofreader for next award slides. Please contact me your email, resume, cover letter. I don't need any references. And the winners are Frostlass and Piloswine.
Wow.
Little double duty there. Yep. And one thing you'll see here too, because the pie chart is very colorful, is I actually left it open-ended with another option. So Azumarill was nominated, actually got 2 votes beyond the nomination, and Donphin was also nominated there. And honestly, this is another category where we could have really just went through every team and picked one Mon out, and I think any of them could have won there. So Frostlass, really solid, a tier higher than Brad thought it was during the draft.
Yes, it is.
And it puts in a lot of work. That Poltergeist triple axle combo, them getting that on Frostlass, it's now a physical Mon. Like I think in my debut season of ASL, I had a week where I caught my opponent off guard because I had physical Frostlass with Ice Punch, Ice Shard, Sucker Punch, something like that as a set. And they were caught off guard by it because they thought I wouldn't have any priority on it. But now that's a pretty standard thing for Frostlass. And Pilot Swine too, solid Mon. I love having it every season I draft it, especially because all I have to do is go max HP at Violate and then figure out if I want more Spadef or Fizdef, and it wrecks house like 7 kills. That's awesome for a tier D.
It is. But let's clarify one thing. It seems like most weeks you're deciding is max HP, Violate, how much attack am I going to put into Piloswine? Because I felt like I faced offensive Piloswine plenty coming from
I
you.
will open my team builder right now. I guarantee you, there are definitely weeks I had attack, but most weeks
It's
I
just
was next to
so
nothing.
strong, man. It's it's baby memo swine. It's so stinking
Yeah,
strong.
absolutely. Base 100 for a Mon that's not even fully evolved. Like you love that. He's trap
It's
inch.
crazy. It's so good. And then Frostlass, yeah. I mean, the one thing to me that always kind of sets Frostlass apart in my mind is it has the chance to still be that Spikes Destiny Bond set, which can be just as influential as Triple Axle or whatever it wants to run. Two great Mons. I think this is a great result. I had no idea. Like I said, this was spoilers for me. I had no clue what any of this would be. So I love seeing both of these Mons get it. Very deserving. Uh, that's cool.
I just checked my teams. I had 2 weeks of Piloswine where I ran attack investment and adamant, and it was not the week against you. All
That's
the
so
other weeks were
crazy.
0 attack.
It's just so powerful. It just feels like it. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's nuts. I just wish it got knockoff too, because
Yeah.
that would make it perfect.
Okay. On to best kind of top tier free agent pickup, if you will. And
Yep.
this one specifically does not count grace period transactions. So that's something we
Uh,
introduce, or does it?
so I believe last season you said, I mean, basically the way we went about this when I first asked you for this last season, because this category got split up last season from being just best free agent pickup to best tier A, tier B pickup, or best tier C, D, E pickup.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe when I first asked you, you said, "Is it a transaction?" And I said
Ah,
yes, and then you said, "Okay, it counts."
cool.
So that doesn't affect the tier A and Bs, but it does affect the tier C, D, E.
Gotcha. Okay, so it does count grace period transactions, which is cool.
Yep.
So we've got Gliscor, Latios, Megazam, Mega Gyarados, and to me, what sticks out to me before seeing the winner, what a crazy group of Mons to be free agent pickups. Like
That's why we split it up.
these are all so like draftable. Put them on your roster Mons. And then they're the free agent pickups. That's nuts. So the winner would be Mega Alakazam. Yeah, no really surprise there at 11 kills in 8 games. Averaging more than a kill a game. Really good Mon. Really powerful. Mogo used it. I think he brought it every time he played. Did he only played 8 games, didn't he?
Yeah, I would have to check on the one thing our doc doesn't do is it doesn't really track
Mm.
when coaches take over another team.
Yeah,
But I do believe this is something he picked up when he became the coach in place of I
yeah,
believe Fuzzy or whoever was there before.
and used it.
And
If not every week, he used it almost every week. But powerful Mon, really strong. Mega Alakazam definitely is the focal point when you're building to face an opposing team. If they have that Mon, you're certainly running a Scarf to kill it or something like that. It cannot go unnoticed.
oh, for sure, 150 speed, 175 special attack. Like just hearing those numbers, you're like, oh shit, I got to do something about this. Like,
Yeah. And I think sometimes that's what works against something like a Mega Alakazam is because, everyone's going to take note of it, but it's so dominant. It's such a dominant force. But shout out to the other Mons, Gliscor, Latios, and Gyarados, all being nominated. Big honor. And then next we have the kind of low tier free agent pickup.
yep. So for the Mons that would not be nominated otherwise, if we didn't have this category, best tier CDE free agents, we have Bearskita from the Woodland Weaviles, Girafarig from the Woodland
Everywhere.
Weaviles, Dallas Tyrannostars, plus minus rollers, Magmortar from the Totem Totodile, and Mandibuzz from the Phoenix Flygons.
Hmm.
And the Mon that won was not the meme Giraffe Rig, it was actually Barraskewda.
I voted for Giraffe Rig. I'm just going to be honest about it.
I don't blame you, but at the same time, I would have been really upset if it won, and it got close. It got really close. Look at that split there.
Yeah.
Tied with Mandibuzz, and I think that's one vote off from being tied with Barraskewda.
Well, for those that didn't watch the season or don't know what we're talking about, Giraffe Rig was not only drafted for the first time, I believe, in the history of the league,
Yep.
it was a snipe. Someone
Yep.
had it on their plans, was upset about the snipe, and like it just more talk about Giraffe Rig on draft day than there's been in the first 5 years of the league. And then I believe it was dropped and picked up, or was it traded first?
So I got the whole story since I'm the one who actually sniped it.
Hmm.
I had it on one of my plans. I was getting down to my tier E's. I wasn't really sure on how I wanted to finish my team out. But I kind of just looked at Giraffe Rig. I'm like, you know what? It's a mod that was never used before. It's never gonna get used if I don't take it. So I'm gonna take it. And then Amarillo tries to take it like half a round after me or something. And he's like, wait, it was picked? What? Brad's
Gosh.
losing it.
Yeah.
And I messaged Amarillo after, and Amarillo kind of helped me figure out what I want to do with my team. I sort of helped him, except he didn't really make any trades, except for the Giraffe Rig. He ends up picking Executor for me. I trade to him for Giraffe Rig, and then I think he uses Giraffe Rig for one game, and then he drops it. And then Lille decides to drop Delcatty and pick up Giraffe Rig after
Yes.
facing me with Delcatty, just for the meme. And he brought it to one game as well.
Yeah, he brought it versus me, week 13, and led Trick Scarf with it.
Yep, and it was certainly there. It was it existed. It came to games.
Yeah. But I mean, justifiably so, Barraskewda getting it done with a really solid, I mean, almost that kind of holy grail, almost at 2 kills in appearance. Just right
Yeah.
under it, which it is kind of crazy from a Mon in this general territory. So very deserving, super powerful, fast, kind of, can't take a hit. Yeah, just your traditional glass cannon, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like 100. It's 136 speed. So I was looking at it some games. I debated bringing it against Lily's Mega Manetric because it gets drill run, which can hit that. The only downside being the Intimidate, of course. So
Sure.
wouldn't necessarily be able to get the pickup from full health. But like it has a solid move pool. It's very fast. It hits very hard, base 123 attack, and it has flip turn too, which lets it get out of. It's just really good. You don't even need rain because it's already super fast and it hits super hard. It was just solid mon overall, and just it did what you expected it to do. I honestly preferred it over Mega Aerodactyl when I had both on my team this season. It performed better. It wasn't taking 25 from rocks. It was really fun.
Right. And it gets momentum, right?
Yeah, flip turn.
Yeah. Okay. Best nickname. I'm going to let you take this category entirely because I know that it means a lot more to you than it does to me. But Amarillo, Lele, Peach, and TCP all nominated for Best Nicknamer. And the winner was, I'll let you have it.
Yeah, so the winners actually are
Oh.
both Lille and TCP. I left this one open category too, and I may have regretted it, but the it was really it's just a fun category. Like I like seeing the nickname gimmicks. I'm surprised Amarillo didn't get any votes, considering he had the whole naming gimmick of naming everything on his team some variant of Gligar, which is why Gligar was there for his team logo. Lilith had the Yanners references. If you don't know what that is, you're uncultured, and I'm willing to help you and educate you. But also just some fun nicknames from him as well. Like when he picked up the Gliscor in place of Mamoswine, he kept the Mamoswine's nickname on the Gliscor, which I thought was just really funny. And myself, I got votes. I don't know why. I literally just took Hitmontop's name and put an S in front of it and was like LOL. But the Articuno got a lot of votes last season for a similar construct. And TCP, a lot of obscure references, most of which I didn't get. And part of the reason why I chose to change this category from the best nickname to the best nicknamers, because a lot of names on, I think everyone's team that was nominated changed like week to week. In fact, there was one week where Amarillo's team didn't mention Gligar whatsoever, and it felt really off. But TCP's team, even though I think I voted for Lole, I liked his nicknames a lot. The Mega Kangaskhan with the nickname Tag Team, that just works super well. That's super amazing.
Yeah.
And naming the Arcanine after our friend Will, you can see his Discord comment there on the slide. It's it was just a fun thing to go back and forth on, and the Keldeo JoJo reference, which I think was also a call out to me, very very fun as well. And if you go to the next slide, we actually have a short little video explaining his Decidueye nickname, which I'm sure nobody ever thought to look at. And he told me, hey,
So we need a name
this
for
is
Rowlet's
actually, you
final
put this at the end of a
evolution. I was
YouTube
thinking of-
link and it comes up with a video. And I was like, I'm not doing that because I want to get rickrolled. But at the end of the season, when I was putting this together, I saw he won this category. I'm like, you know what? Why not? Let's get rickrolled.
Let's play it.
And you can play the
So
video.
we need
It's
a name
actually
for
not
Rowlet's
rickrolled.
final evolution. I was thinking a pun on like deciduous. The fuck? Oh, you mean like a pun on like Deadeye, like a sniper? Mm-hmm. Fuck it.
Decidueye.
Okay. All right. That was good. Okay, let's move on to Gimmick of the Season. We had 3 nominees. One sticks out as by far and beyond the most painful. But let's see who won. First, Inkfish, Lille, and TCP were all nominated. Congrats to you. And the winner actually was Inkfish's Stored Power Body Press Mew. That actually surprises me a little bit. But it was a great set. And this was against Ian, right?
Yes, this was week 13 against Ian
Yeah.
last week of the season.
And at least at that point in time, it may have been inevitable, but I believe at that point in time it fully knocked Ian out of the playoff race, right?
Yes, yeah, that was the one that did it.
Yeah. So crazy Mew set. I think, and I don't remember the full details. I'd have to go back in my mind, but I think it was like, was this his last remaining Mon?
I can get the game and
I
just
think it
pull
was.
it up
Well,
really
it was
quick.
some kind of last.
I don't think it was his
ditch.
last Mon.
At least maybe it was in my mind. He was kind of behind.
No, he
the 8
6-0'd him
ball.
actually.
Oh wow,
He
really?
6-0'd him.
I don't remember it at all. Then, wow.
Yeah.
I honestly thought Lille's Delcatty would win this just because it was obscenely annoying.
Me too. I'm glad it didn't.
Yeah.
I don't. It wasn't a very heavy gimmick season as we only had 3 nominees, and I didn't like being on the receiving end of 2 gimmicks.
Mm.
One that was like quick and painful, and the other was like long and painful. But the Delcatty, and that Delcatty, like, as much as we look at it and it was a waste of time, it actually was a weirdly funny recreation of something that actually happened between 2 VTubers. And just, being an utter nuisance, it actually really worked in Lille's favor because he focused so much of his game plan around that Delcatty that couldn't touch an Ambipom because its only attacking move was Shadow Ball, and it didn't yet learn Nasty Plot. Or did it?
I don't know.
Actually, it might have. I believe it. I think it got Nasty Plot officially in Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, but it had it already because of Pokemon Home transfer leaks or something. something like that.
Okay.
I don't know. Either way, it was at +6, +6, +6. And, it sat there for 120 turns, and I have 5-0 Lille. But that ended up working really well in his favor, because I brought, pretty, I guess not standard, but serious stuff, trying to beat his team, and he was able to just kind of turn that around and be like, all right, I know all of Peach's sets. He hardly knows any of mine. I knew a good number of sets, but he was able to change his game plan drastically just because he knew he wasn't revolving around that Delcatty at all. So it actually really worked in his favor.
Well, and that Delcatty was, one Ambipom away from winning that match.
Oh, for sure.
That was, that was crazy. That was crazy.
I remember he messaged me right after the match, and he was Wonder Skin, and I hit 2 Toxics on him. One was with Reshiram, so the Wonder Skin didn't matter because of Turbo Blaze essentially being Mold Breaker. But the other was with Pilot Swine, who's got hair growing in front of his eyes. And he was like, how does Pilot Swine hit that 40% Toxic? But I really just want to shout out to Inkfish for winning this category.
Yeah.
He 6-0 to Ian. I never even thought of this sort of set for Cosmic Power, Weakness Policy, Mew, Stored Power, Roost, Body Press.
Yeah.
And it's like it sounds gimmicky, but when you put it on paper, it looks very legitimate, especially since Body Press deals with the dark types that Stored Power doesn't deal with. And on Ian's team, that was only the Greninja.
Yeah.
He had Type Null, Magmortar, Laios, Gourgeist, and Togekiss against it as well. And even through para-flinching, which I think he attempted with Togekiss, it still ended up breaking through and ended the game in what you see in that small screenshot in the bottom left, 15%.
Yeah, and most people aren't necessarily looking to Toxic Mew because you have to take one in return.
Oh yeah, he paralyzed himself on Togekiss because of that.
It's not, I think it's generally something you're willing to do, but it's not something people are necessarily wanting to do.
Absolutely.
So it just kind of all worked out. So congrats to all the nominees and the season 14 champion. And I love the shout out to Hunter x Hunter. That's pretty fun.
I had to do something there. And my original idea was to put all your Mon's faces on one of the Hunter x Hunter posters that have a lot of the characters on it, but none of them had the characters you chose for nicknames, and it was kind of messy since they were all on top of each other. So I just put Gon cosplaying as Urshifu.
I will say
I vaguely remember the context for that episode.
I will say, for those that don't really know me, I've been playing Draft League for a really long time. I've won actually quite a few leagues. I've had a decent amount of success in the Draft League community. But I will say this championship probably means more to me than any other championship I've ever won. I've gone undefeated before, but it wasn't here. I've won the ASL before, but this one was just kind of special to me. This is my first championship with the Energy Ballers logo and the Energy Ballers franchise, and that kind of logo was something I commissioned from an experience I had with a good friend of mine, and Brett. Shout out to you. That it was broke the record of never having an undefeated season in the ASL, broke the differential record, and I did it not really featuring any one Mon, which is something that I enjoy from my playstyle. There was Urshifu was either the second or the third highest kills on my team, but it wasn't far and away the highest kills. Savali led my team in kills, which is kind of bananas. Garchomp was up there. I think I had 4 Mons with double-digit kills, and Corviknight was at 9 and almost got to 10. Every one of my Mons
double-digit kills.
Do what now?
You had 3 with double-digit kills. Urshifu, Garchomp. Or no, I'm sorry, I read the wrong thing. No, you're right. You have 4
Silvally and
I read games played.
G King also had double-digit kills as well. But every Mon was useful. To me, this just, for me personally, the ASL being, my favorite, obviously, place to play the game. This was it for me. This really meant a lot to me. I hated to end Dravos' season because I was so impressed with his play. He played masterfully this season. He was very deserving to be in the finals, and quite frankly was deserving to win it. But I feel like this season was kind of special for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have nothing to say other than like when I was thinking of ways I would, because I knew if I beat Lille in playoffs, I'd have to fight you next, and I knew that was going to be the hardest game of my life probably, but it never happened, so I didn't have to worry about it. But I mean, I look at your team, and in my mind, I just think I want to trick a ring target onto half of these Mons, so I can actually hit them with something. Because I mean, I look at it and I'm like, there's a little fire weakness, but you have two water types and a Garchomp. It's like it's just kind of a hard to narrow down team. And I mean, you went and won the season before anyone could really like iron out a plan for you.
Yeah. And that's the last side.
Yeah, that's it. That was season 14 in the books, in the archive channel now.
Season 14 was a special one. I just will also highlight the playoff run that we had, or playoff race, excuse me, that we had was absolutely crazy. We were talking about it before I hit record on the video, but every week was critical for the playoff hunt. Even down to weeks 12 and weeks 13, you had, we play 7 matches a week, 14 coaches, and at least 6 of the 7 matches in both weeks 12 and 13 were, playoff important. There was playoff implications on the line. It was so close. There was a 7-6 team that missed the playoffs by 1 differential point, and a handful of teams that missed by 1 game. It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the standings now, even places 4 through 10 were all decided in the last week.
Yeah.
If you were 4 through 10, you were either 7 and 6, or 6 and 7. And then you go one step further. You say third place 8 and 5, and 11th place 5 and 8.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't get any closer than that. I guess it could. Everyone could be 7 and 6, but like it really it was brutal those last few weeks, especially when some games just came down to like a miss or like one wrong switch, or like, I mean, that's speaking from personal experience, or just like one move from misprepping.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the other coaches there, like a lot of tied differentials, a lot of just like nail biting edge of your seat moments from the beginning to end of the season. Not saying that the end of the season is the only part that mattered. The beginning mattered just as much.
Yeah.
As well.
Well, it was a great season. We're moving on to the off season. Season 14 off season drafts first weekend in December, I think. So signups are still open. If you're interested at all, link to our Discord is below the video. You can sign up now. Signups are, I believe, still open. If not, I'm sure we can get you in if you let us know. And then season 15 announcements hopefully coming soon. I think we're pretty much done with the coach roster for season 15. The tiers are done. Tiers and doc and all that will probably be out in the next week or so. So onward we go.
Yeah, onward we go. And Brad, as is the tradition we started last season, is there anything you any little tidbits, any little sneak peek you wanna drop for the people who watched the video this far?
You know what? Okay, sure. Yeah, I can do that. I will say Reshiram is gone. Reshiram is gone. It's gone forever. It's never coming back. It was a terrible idea to let it in. Yeah, forever.
Terrible idea that five people unanimously voted for.
Never coming back.
In favor of.
But, Zaza meant it crowned. Welcome, season 15. That's the end.
Oh,
We're done.
oh,
And
I'm. Ooh, I was not made aware of this.
and that's it. We're out. Tell them bye.
Bye.
See ya.